Syracuse is back at home after opening up its ACC slate yesterday with a win over Boston College. They'll aim to close out the weekend with an out-of-conference matchup with UMass. Good morning and welcome to this broadcast. I'm Jared Johnston alongside Riley Underwood. Syracuse aims to keep its perfect home record clean. They're 5-1 on the year, but Drumlin's has been a very good venue for them so far to start the year.
It certainly has, and there's a definite home court advantage here for Syracuse, and they've going back-to-back. They got a quality win yesterday versus Boston College, and that was a kind of a hiatus from that Columbia loss. It's good to get those legs moving, getting some real game experience back. That'll help the Orange today. And
for Syracuse, the momentum all starts with the doubles point. It's how they've gotten their wins this season, and the number one doubles pairing, especially potent in doing so, ranked number 39 in the nation.
Certainly. Victoria Kenepetskaya and Shiori Ito, a dynamic duo. They struggled yesterday. The whole team struggled yesterday with doubles, but on the year, they've been really good. They're content with hitting those long balls, playing the point out, making their opponent make the mistakes.
And on the opposite side for UMass, a team that's really good with net play, led up front by the senior Danielle Hack.
Danielle Hack, really a leader on this team, a quiet leader, but she leads by example. She's really good at the net, too. And her partner, Belle Jongra-Trakul, she's really good at the net. She loves to poach, very aggressive for this UMass Minutewomen team.
We'll see how that all unfolds with doubles play, and we'll give you a quick reminder, fans, of the rules. 3 different doubles matches during this duel between the two teams. The best of 3 in that series will get 1 point, and that moves on to 6 singles matches that earn each a single point. The first to 4 points wins a match. And so Syracuse will try to start off strong, and it's a very interesting doubles matchup. Obviously, we mentioned the players that could be really good and really potent for that UMass team, and that's what's lined up. It's the same sets of players across the board for UMass. For Syracuse, it's entirely different.
It certainly is, and I'm really looking to that number 2 doubles with Constance Levivier and Sisaweva paired together. Levivier, a recent addition to the team. She wasn't with the team at the beginning of the season, going up against Ty and Fassler. That'll be a really fun game to watch.
And so new players getting their chance in the lineup. Eunice Lamam still has time to tweak things for Syracuse with 8 players on the roster this season in his 10th year as the head coach. So overall, Eunice has now had a chance moving back from last season where they only had 6 players overall. If 1 player goes down, you have to default to match. The situation is entirely different this year for Syracuse at 5-1 on the year. So we'll get things started quickly with the number 1 doubles court, the pairing Paulina Kozireva and Inez Font for Syracuse. And they're lined up across from Danielle Hack and Tamonpan Jongleur-Trakul, who goes by Belle. So that is how we will identify her for our match purposes. Early on, what's kind of the idea for Syracuse here when you play Boston College, an ACC opponent? Does the mentality change at all?
I don't think the mentality changes, and when we talked to Coach Lamam before the game, his focus was play the ball, not the number. So don't worry about who you're playing. All you can control is your own play, and especially when you're going out of in conference to out of conference, that's really important to remember.
Great get from Font, and that keeps Syracuse in the point. Go up 30-15 on the serve.
Jongleur-Trakul specializes at the net. Just a little bit out of position, caught her off guard into the net.
Great poaching from Font. Up 40-15 now for Syracuse. I mean, it will be a battle of poachers as this matchup goes on at 1 double.
And Font loves to poach, and that time it works. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Sometimes you poach and you get out of position. That time it works exactly how she drew it up.
And that's a great cross-court grab there from Jongleur-Trakul.
Certainly was. John Cool, excellent placement on that ball, hitting it where the other team wasn't.
And so this is an interesting matchup for Syracuse because Eunice Lamont kind of threw a wrench in the sails of Juan Carlos Nunez. He's kind of expecting Shiori Ito and kind of Putskaya playing at that #1 spot. We mentioned early on in the outset a ranked doubles pairing, but Syracuse throws an entirely different pairing. So what can fans expect in this matchup as it goes along? Attack and John Cool, they were at 40-30 on the break, so they'll get the first game of this matchup breaking serve. But what can you expect when you're looking at a new pairing at #1 doubles? What does Cozy Reva bring? What does Font bring for Syracuse?
Well, Cozy Reva really vocal, and that can help Inez Font. She's very aggressive, so keep her in check. The communication is key, and the doubles was an area which Syracuse struggled yesterday. They dropped the doubles point versus Boston College, but to mix those doubles pairings up, and when we talked to Coach Lamam, he says the out-of-conference games is where he likes to experiment and get ready for ACC play. They've already had one ACC match under their belt now with the win against Boston College, but this is just still trying to figure out who works best together and who can get your team those wins.
Attack serving for UMass. And she just misses the line on the alley. And so Cozy Reva as well, kind of a complementary pairing if you think of Ice and Fire, I guess. She's a really strong baseline hitter in her singles play, so she doesn't really take many chances, and that consistency can help when you get in those cross-court battles when it comes to doubles. So we'll see what's to come for Font and Cozy Reva. So they'll try to break back in this game after UMass broke their serve. That's a beautiful ace right there. Not a lot of power on it, but kind of bananaing to the outside.
She put the finesse on it, the spin serve, and what I don't think Syracuse was expecting that to come out of the arsenal so early in the game. Right down the tee.
Good grab in the put away for John Cool. She's been especially good at the net. Maybe only one mistake thus far, but every other time it's trying to put away the points.
Certainly when we talked to Coach Nunez, he says he really likes the way that she just hunts the ball and just tries to slam it down, taking the opponent off the court. That point exactly what you want to do.
So Syracuse down now, 2 points to hold serve for UMass. What's so challenging for Syracuse? You can see John Cool, the player in the service box, at least on that ad side, wasn't starting cross court. So what are the set plays that we're seeing out of UMass thus far?
Well, we're seeing a mixed variety. They're not doing the same thing every time. When they hold that hand behind their back, they're calling a play where they want to serve, where they want to transition to afterwards. And so it's a look that Syracuse hasn't really seen too often on the year. So it's just a matter of adjusting and seeing if you can guess where they're going to go.
Good miss wide for Syracuse at least, and gives them a point. Force Danielle Hack way outside and still have a chance to hold on here. This is very interesting pairing, or at least when you look back to the #1 teams over the past few weeks, Hack and John Cool have basically been in the driver's seat. They're 4-1 at #1 doubles, but they lost their most recent match against Army at that #1 spot. Meanwhile, you have a team that isn't really tested at all at the #1 position in Font and Cozy Reva. So 2 teams looking to prove themselves yet again.
Certainly. Massachusetts could have a chance with these mixed up pairings to get a doubles point, and that would be huge going into singles.
A cross-court winner from Danielle Hack, and she puts UMass up 2-0.
And she opted to go cross-court. Last time there was a cross-court rally. She wanted to hit it down the line. This time, smartly, goes cross-court. Exactly where the Orange were not.
How do you frame up your shot like that? 'Cause it's not just your racket, but also your feet. Like, how do you kind of hide that shot in those situations?
Well, you got to get your feet under you. You got to get positioned. And the net is lower when you're hitting cross-court because there's more room to work, more room to get yourself going and get the ball going with that top spin to get a little bit over the ball, and that's exactly what she did.
It's Vaughn serving for the first time this morning in this third service game at the #1 doubles court. She lets it go, clips the line, and this is trouble if you're Syracuse. You're going down again on your serve.
Certainly, you're already down 2-0, and now you're down 30 love. Time to get something going. That one just a bit long.
There it is.
Every time. Font hitting with a lot of pace, but Chakul waiting for her opportunity. She was looking for the perfect time to get in there and pounce.
So you can't be too ritualistic or routine when it comes to those cross-court shots. Otherwise, Chakul will pounce on them. At the baseline, though, Kozyreva has her own share of net play, and, well, 2 more points to go. Trying to keep your serve.
Chakul got a taste of her own medicine right there. Exactly the point after when you slam that at the net, you hit it right to the other net person. Kozyreva says, hey, you can do it, I can do it too.
Great first serve and great shot down the line. Passing Chakul just dipped ahead of the baseline.
And that's the drawback of the height disadvantage at the net. Chakul only 5'4", just skips it over her head. Perfect position.
It looked like she thought it was going out. She let it go, but the top spin there brings it back down.
It did.
Need this second serve here. Now Syracuse going straight down the line. Kozyreva lined up in the ad box. And they get back in the game. It's deuce. That's a great 3-point effort from Syracuse from love 40 down to get back into it. And now this brings us to our first deuce of this morning. So rules in college tennis, usually it's agreed upon by the coaches whether they can play ads or no ads for the most part. And usually in these early matchups, they'll do no ad scoring, which means the returners get to pick the service box. Here we are on the deuce side. First serve chest wide. Syracuse holds off an unforced error. Danielle Hack shanks it into the umpire's chair, and the Orange get one back.
That grip just not firm enough, slips out of her hand a little bit, and right into the scorer's table. Watch out, just a little bit higher. He might have went flying off.
Sometimes it's tough when you frame one of those, and it's not square on your racket face, and that's the case for Danielle Hack. Len Lupo's loving it because he sees Syracuse gets a game back, and that was huge at the #1 spot.
2-1 is a lot different than going down 3-0. Big difference and a big advantage for the Orange.
It's definitely important to consider across other courts as well for head coach Juan Carlos Nunez in his 7th season for UMass. He's out there making sure his other pairings are taken care of. Ella Fassler on court 2 along with Amelia Tai. They're up 2-1 over Syracuse right now. And at the number 3 spot, it's Kanapatskaya and Elde against Krasikova and O'Brien. We're down 2-1 for UMass. So very tight doubles play thus far. And Juan Carlos Nunez has 2 courts at least right now that have themselves in winning position.
Beautiful attacking by Inez Font. Got over the ball, put some power on it. 2 great shots back to back. Set up that, well, it was a forced error because she was just dominating that point. That was all Inez Font.
Powerful serve, just misses out.
Very close. That would have taken Kosireva off the court.
It's Belle Jongler-Tricul serving for the first time on this number 1 doubles court. Kicks the second serve, and Hack gets the volley down. It's 15-all.
Hack, really good, really strategic at the net. And when you're at the net and you can have a chance to hit it at the feet, that's exactly where you want to put it, because more than likely they're not going to be expecting it. They're not going to be able to get it back.
So the return has to be a bit lower then.
It does. The return has to be lower to not allow that to be able to happen, not allow the net person to get a chance to put it away.
Another first serve misses long. A bit more mistakes now from UMass as far as the early run that they went on. Syracuse coming back and maybe some chances to be a bit more offensive. The ball going onto the court from the number 2 court, just at the bottom right corner of your screen. So let replay. They'll have to redo that point. It seemed pretty good there as far as the baseline rallying goes, but it doesn't matter where the ball enters the court, whether it's in front of the players or behind. It can be an obstacle to be stepped on, can interfere with the actual ball on the court.
Polina Kosireva was not happy that they called that let, because she thought that she had the advantage at that point and wanted to go up 30-15.
So restart on the deuce side. Jongler-Tricul on the second serve. And that's another put away for Inez Font.
That's a masterclass from Inez Font. Really good. Controlling the point, controlling the court as well. I've really been impressed with her play today, and it's been helping Kosireva out. She doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting when you have someone like Font right by your side.
Another miss into the net. This gives Syracuse a chance on a double break. It's the very same scenario the Orange faced in their first service game, in which UMass broke them, and to get back into this one would be huge for Font and Kosireva. Bit too aggressive after some defensive gets there?
A little bit, and that whole possession, the Minutewomen had the advantage. The Orange were back at the baseline, playing defensive, just trying to get the ball back, and just a little too far on that last hit, but a good ball by Jongler-Tricul to take her outside, and even if she got that, she would have been out of the court and would have put the Minutewomen in a good position to get the point. Great read down the line from Jongler-Tricul.
catches Font moving to her left.
Catches Font moving to her left, caught her poaching. She was expecting to go back cross court, but just hit it down the line. Perfect ball from Jagerchukul. She's picked it up these fast few points.
So UMass comes into this matchup 4-1. Has yet to play a conference game, but has experience against ACC opponents. The first match of the season they played, they lost 5-2 to Boston College. That's the very same score Syracuse won by yesterday here at the Drumlins Tennis Center.
Another common opponent is Army. The last game out, Massachusetts beat Army, and the first game of the season, Syracuse beat Army at home.
Great break for Syracuse. Waited for its chance, and Font forced the error. Syracuse evens it up at 2 apiece.
And you see the emotion at the end of the play you don't always get to see from this pairing. Forced the error, got him at the net. They were both up and hit it right at him. Don't think they were expecting that. They wanted the chance for the slam.
So the #1 team gets back even. Allow us to shift things over now to the #2 doubles court, and bit out of sorts there from Anastasia Sissoeva and Constance Levivier, and they drop a game there after running into the tarp behind the baseline here.
And that's an interesting pairing because both these players are new to the team this year, and Constance Levivier just added to the season. After the season already started, there was some NCAA eligibility issues, but she's a freshman from France playing overseas this fall. Just poor communication on the back end.
The 2 new players for Syracuse joining as the season progressed, but really just due to paperwork issues. And it was Emily Elde and Constance Levivier for Syracuse. Levivier to the left, getting talked to by first-year assistant coach Jackie Kalla. Joining the program after the departure of Maddie Cobelt. And this is a team now down by 3 games, but you go back up on the serve. What do you think she's talking about there after a game that was pretty close there, but you drop it and you have to get the service game back.
You do have to get the service game back. And Jackie, she's a good assistant coach. She played tennis at Amherst until 2017, and she's talking about communication. Don't get in your heads. 1 point at a time. Play the ball, not the number. A number can mean ranking. It can also mean the score of the game. 1 point at a time to get back in this one.
There's a shank there from Levivier. Ball rising on her. Talked with Jackie Kalla about the weather. She's from Tampa, Florida, so the weather outside right now, we're shielded it from at the Drumlins Tennis Center, but she's still getting used to that as well. Indoor facility is great, you know. Don't get to practice outside probably till April or May if you're here in Syracuse. It's a bit different than what she's experienced even at UMass, that actually has an outdoor and indoor home facility. Their outdoor courts situated right on their campus, the Mullins Tennis Center, and indoor they play about 15 minutes away from their campus in Amherst.
They do, and Massachusetts didn't get a chance to hit last night on these courts. They came in yesterday afternoon, went to the hotel, got some food, and today, before the game, was their first time warming up at Drumlin, so a bit of an adjustment maybe. They played at the indoor facility yesterday before leaving, just a light hit around. This is their first chance actually playing on this new surface.
A lot of players and teams say when it's unfamiliar to them that the ball zips off the hard courts here at Drumlins. There's, of course, no wind in this facility, so everything is pretty contained. The one advantage for Syracuse, too, is being used to how narrow the surfaces are as well.
Really, and on this last play, really aggressive by Fassler, and that's what she prides herself on, being aggressive with a strong base, getting over the ball, and forcing the error.
Juan Carlos Nunez, the head coach for UMass, goes by JC, so He mentioned to us his two strongest doubles players, he believes, Ella Fassler and Bella Jongler-Tricul. Hacks up there as well, but as far as net front goes, you saw it right there. Here's another chance and a slam. That's how it's done, and that's why she leads that number 2 pairing.
Ella Fassler, excellent, very powerful, very strong, and just slams it. No chance for the Orange to get back twice in a row, going up 5-1. That's a big point for the Minutewomen.
Puts UMass up 5-1 on this number 2 doubles court. It's a very large deficit to overcome if you're Levivier and Sisueva.
Sisueva comes over, transferring from Florida. That one just goes into the net from Amelia Tai.
Good get from Levivier. Sisueva keeps it alive. That was a great point from Syracuse to stay in it at the net.
And the net play is a risky game when you're at this point in the match, because you don't want to get too aggressive, because then you're out of it. You lose one game, it's over. But also, if you're aggressive, you can get a chance to get back in the game. So a risky game to play for the Orange. That time it paid off.
Lob shot misses the alley. Syracuse still up 30-15 on the serve. It's Constance Levivier serving for Syracuse. Parisian out of France. It was pretty unsure that she would play. She was in the building for the first few matchups, but wasn't registered for NCAA paperwork. She's now ready to go. And she's played 2 matchups at the number 6 singles spot. This is her first foray really into doubles. And see if her and Sisueva can hold on to this service game here.
This next point is big, because if you lose, you're 1 point away from dropping the match.
Miss wide and a chance to hold serve for Levivier and Sisueva. Reminder to anyone who's just joining us in college tennis, there's a doubles point and 6 singles points. So 3 doubles matches going on right now, and the best of 2 out of 3 earns a single point in a duel here between UMass and Syracuse. We were just checked in a moment ago with the number 1 singles team. Syracuse went 2-0 down. Now it's Fontaine Kozareva up 3-2. Then at the third single spot, or third double spot rather, with Kanapatskaya, Syracuse up 4-2.
And in this one, Syracuse gets their second game of the match to cut the lead to 3. That time, good play at the net, skips over it a little bit. Not much you can do if you're Amelia Tai.
This is the second game of the weekend for Syracuse. Played a duel out against Boston College at this same facility with a 5-2 win, but a lot of those matches stretched, going the distance. So if you're Eunice Lamam or you're Jackie Colley, you see her talking to her team right now. What's the mindset in these doubles matchups where it does seem especially important? Syracuse has the lead currently in the 1 and 3 court, but that's a very slim margin. Anything can change, as they learned losing to Boston College in doubles yesterday.
They did lose to Boston College in the doubles pairing, and that was kind of unusual for this team. They've been really strong in doubles through the first stretch of the season. That was their first kind of hiccup on the path, and just got to forget about yesterday, even though they still got the win. So they have the momentum. They just got to get back together, take it 1 game at a time.
Syracuse defending. They get the that point there. And off a really strong serve from Amelia Tai. Tai, a freshman out of England from London, and coach has spoken about and praised her consistency. The fact that she won't beat herself, the other team has to.
Yeah, with Tai, you know what you're getting. Very consistent. They say she's very mature for her age, just being a freshman, but you know what you're getting with Tai, and that's going to be a very consistent player. Nice cross-court shot. Just returned a little bit wide.
In the fall, she was 7-3 in doubles, but 4-6 in singles, so safe to say she can hold it down pretty well when she's paired up. Currently 3-2 with the Ella Fassler and Amelia Tai pairing this season.
Fassler just gets a little bit ahead of herself, hitting that one into the net. Unforced mistake. Puts the orange up.
Tai to serve from the ad side. Sisaweva to return for Syracuse. Good put away there by Fassler.
Sisaweva didn't hit that one wide enough. Fassler got the opportunity and she took it. Would have liked to either go further to your right or further to the left. Right in the middle is where she hit, and that's not where you want to go because she's the net person every time. They're just going to put it right back to you.
It's a very competitive string of doubles matches. Syracuse down 5-2 on this court, but up 5-2 at the doubles 3 pairing. And for the #1 team in Fawn and Kozareva, knotted up at 3 apiece. Looks like it could come down to that #1 doubles matchup.
Nice play to finish it off at the net. And for UMass, it was a good hustle to get back there, but really on the defensive side the whole time. Syracuse had the momentum in that point, and they looked like they were gonna get it from the jump.
Wide serve from Tai. That one's put away. Brings us to deuce, and UMass serving for this match here, #2 doubles.
Ella Fassler put that one away. That was a weak shot back to the net. Boom. Bounces it up, probably almost looked like it was almost gonna hit the ceiling.
Gotta be careful not to touch the net there too.
Really, you do. That was very close to the net. Whips her arm around, but she got it in college tennis. No lets on that one, so that's why the play continued.
So Syracuse can't cash in. Tai and Fassler take the matchup 6-2 at #2 doubles. Closing it out on their serve, it's UMass up 1-0 when it comes to doubles play. So that makes things interesting now because we'll see how things progress through this day. And so Syracuse is 1-1 when they've dropped a doubles point, which means they're 4-0 when they do have it. So not to worry either way because Syracuse claimed its 1 win while dropping doubles against Boston College yesterday. So a bit of recency bias as far as recovering in singles play.
Their only loss on the year as a team was to Columbia, but they were without Inez Fun. She was out for personal reasons back home, but having her back is really a big boost for the Orange. She's a really good player, and we saw her earlier. She was the first match we highlighted in the #1 doubles. Really a solid player when she's back on the team.
So just in court, the #3 singles, or rather doubles court, Konopatskaya and Eldu finished 6-2, so that's a victory for the Orange. Teams are tied now at 1 apiece, while that #1 doubles court that we started out with is neck and neck, and this is what it's come down to for earning that doubles point.
Neck and neck, 3-3, excuse me, 4-3 now. Syracuse picked up a game. UMass to serve, they're up 15-love right now. Cool. We'll see that powerful serve in action.
So we're back on court 3 in the Drumlins Tennis Center for the #1 doubles match. Paulina Kozyreva just missing long. She's paired up with Inez Font, 2 experienced players for Syracuse. And she's missed past the baseline there.
Really powerful shots from both teams right there. Just a little bit long from Kozyreva. A little more topspin could have done her good.
Font blasts that one long. And just after Syracuse got it served before the changeover, it's 3 straight points for UMass. And they'll aim to even this one up and hold serve.
Syracuse looks a little antsy these last few points. All eyes are on this court. It's the deciding factor for the doubles point.
That ball off the tape nearly landed in the box. We were mentioning it earlier with the #3 doubles point on that last exchange before the 6-2 loss for Levivier and Sisueva. The ball bounces in the box off the tape. Play continues on. Winner down the line. Jongler, Tricul, and Hack even the game up. Back to Syracuse on the serve.
John Tricul, good at the net, and she's good for the baseline too. A really strong backhand for the Bangkok, Thailand native. Puts it right down the baseline, went cross court first, then went down the baseline. It worked. They're knotted up 4 apiece.
At what point are you waiting for Font to poach like that?
It just depends. It would have done her. I don't think there's a point where I'm waiting for Font to poach. It just depends on where the point plays out. And this time, Kozyreva has a nice deep shot and just a better return. Gets it over the head of Font. Gets the point for the Minutewomen.
Ball just out. Great exchange at the net as well, and Syracuse holds on to that point there.
That one was very close. Looked like it was on the line to me, but they're right there. See it better than we can. Very close, just a little bit out.
And we don't have the Hawkeye vision. Syracuse professor Dennis Denninger is very proud of that from his time at ESPN. Big Syracuse tennis fan.
Strong play at the net by Tricul. Slamming it. Another one. That you're just not going to return that back, no matter how good of a player you are.
More aggressive play from UMass, and Belle Tricul just taking advantage. This is very close, and for Syracuse, the margins are very fine. You do want the ball in the hands of a service player like Kozyreva, who's always so consistent. Great first serve, gets them a point there.
It did, and put the Minutewomen off balance from the jump. Great first serve, return. Too strong, not enough topspin, flies out.
Kozyreva pancake that one a little bit. Misses long. Another unforced error, and Syracuse up on the serve to go up 5-4. You want to close it out now.
Dude, we saw a little bit of rare frustration being shown by Danny Hack. Usually very calm and composed, kind of flips her racket up in frustration. That ball sailed on her.
Her coach, J.C. Nunez, said that she always leads by example, a quiet leader, always sports a positive attitude. They've got to defend now on this point. What went wrong there?
Kosi Reva wasn't expecting that one to bounce off the net. That's where it went wrong. She was expecting just a regular shot, and when it hit the net, kind of went off balance, didn't have her feet set in the right place where she would have originally planned to hit that one.
So at deuce, UMass chooses the ad side to receive. Now Syracuse drops the serve. It's a break for UMass. Hack and Jongler-Tracul go up 5-4.
Really big point from UMass. They hit it cross court and return, and almost got it back to Hack, and that would have been a nice shot, but not high enough.
The assistant coach in her first season, Hannah McColgan, talks to her players. We spoke with J.C. Nunez about what she brings to the table, and it's really relatability. I mean, Nunez finished his collegiate career back in the late 2000s, rather, so he's been coaching for quite some time. But McColgan, a grad student at Maryland last season, spent 4 years in her undergrad at Northwestern, and so she's helped bring a different perspective to these UMass players and keep them in these games, keep them fighting, and sees his team now just one game away from closing out the doubles point against a tricky ACC opponent.
It would be big to get this win versus an ACC opponent like the Orange, and McColgan spoke about her. Nunez spoke very highly of her in her first season. Played a lot of Big Ten tennis, academic all Big Ten honoree, and talks about her comedic relatability too. Really funny with the players, joking around, and knows when to keep it serious and lock in. This is a time where you gotta lock in if you're UMass, and a beautiful slam by Kosi Reva at the net.
Syracuse means business.
They do, and Polina, nice shot at the net. Both of them were up there, 2 in a row. Caught Hack out of position.
Good shot from the baseline. UMass down love 30. So the scenario, if the Orange would tie this game at 5, it would extend to 7. So if a team could win 7-5, that would clinch the match. If a team goes up 6-5 and then ties up at 6-6, we'd have a 7-point tiebreaker to close out the one-set doubles match. It looks like we're currently having technical difficulties now with our feed at the Drumlins Tennis Center. Syracuse down 5-4 on that court number 1 matchup, and we were just at a very interesting point, obviously. Pivotal matchup right now between Danielle Hack and Belle Jongler-Tracul, and mentioned how important it would be for Syracuse to creep back into this one. So We'll keep you updated as we work through this right now for everyone watching on ESPN+. We thank you so much for joining us. Guess it's a good time to give you a quick refresher. Syracuse lost 6-2 at the number 2 spot with Constance Levivier and Anastasia Sisoveva. The number 3 doubles pairing won 6-2 with Victoria Konopetskaya and Emily Elde. So overall, the doubles matchup tied at 1 apiece. The next matchup, which would be that number 1 doubles pairing, would ultimately clinch the match for the doubles point.
It wasn't. That's a big doubles point for Syracuse because they dropped the doubles yesterday. They've kind of struggled after starting the year so strong on the doubles side. And one player I'm really impressed with is Emily Elde coming in to the team late, pairing with Konopetskaya to get a convincing 6-2 victory over Krasakova and O'Brien of the men and women. Syracuse up on court 3. 40-30. Still down in the total game, 4-5.
Yeah, just 1 point could swing that back, and so now it's ultimately a chance on the ad side. We'll see if Syracuse can clinch back. And now, once you get to deuce, it's just 1 point. It's deuce right now. Syracuse is defending a match point for UMass. And we mentioned the scenario, getting to 5-fall would basically give you a bit more breathing room, because then it's just not just a point, but a few games. Not a tiebreaker either, so we'll see what the result of this is as we look onwards now at court 3. The number 1 doubles team tied at deuce. Syracuse defending for the match. Good slam and the ball just out. Syracuse gets back. This one's tied at 5 apiece.
Kosi Reva dominated that point. Everyone watching, teams looking for Kosi Reva to make a big play, and she does, to keep Syracuse in it and in contention for the doubles point.
Fans, we thank you for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. It looks like we joined right back at the right time. It's now Syracuse back on the serve at 5-all. Lots of energy in that building right now.
A ton of energy, and that's where I would have liked to see Jara Jakul try to make something happen, communicate a little more, because Hack just was not in position to get that ball and return it back to the Orange.
It's Military Appreciation Day for the Orange. See the fans lined up on the bleachers to the left side. Always special promotions going on, lots of faithful fans, and free pizza as well.
Giving out free stocking caps. Camo pattern on them with the orange S to all the fans in attendance, and some pizza. Who doesn't like that?
Is that what you call them in Kansas?
What do you call them?
A beanie? I don't know. You never heard that?
Yes, I've heard. Have you never heard? It's the same thing.
I've never heard a stocking cap before. I'll go Canadian on you. I'll go toque. I'll do that.
All right, I've never heard of that one. But
Yeah.
they're giving them out regardless.
Oh yeah, it's
Free for the fans.
a lot of the fans got that promotion and cheering on Syracuse as they go up 30-15.
Really, that serve started out really wide. The toss had made her stretch, but that also gives you a chance to put some more spin on it and finesse the ball a little more, whip your arm around, and it ended up well for the Orange.
Ball's out. Syracuse, 2 points to hold serve. And this is a match the Orange have been chasing all game thus far. You go down 2-0, you go up 3-2, you go back down. And now Syracuse tied it up at 5-all with a chance to go back up yet again, 6-5. It was a great first serve, too. Just couldn't get that shot over the net.
Massachusetts trying to get back in this one. They would have liked to get that last game and just ended it, but the game has been extended, and a good first serve, and just not what you want to see. Frustration coming from the Orange. Font not happy with that one.
You mentioned her tosses being a little bit wide of her too, whether that's intentional or not. Maybe a bit mad at that. And that time she just completely wipes across the ball. 2 points to hold serve by the wayside. It's another deuce scenario.
Composure, a big factor at this point in the match. Again, a wide toss, and then just an unforced error. Hits that one wide and long. You don't want these mistakes to build. And for Font, looks like kind of affecting her a little bit mentally. And when you're at this point in the game, 5 apiece, deuce, you gotta lock in. Forget about the last one. This is a point you gotta win.
UMass again chooses the ad side. That ball long, it's the Minutewomen breaking serve, and they go up 6-5, and they'll set up to try to clinch the doubles point.
Massachusetts would really like to have this next one and end it by winning by 2, and Font got it, and then the Orange just a little too strong. Unforced errors on the back end of this match, and can't have that when you're going up against a team that's really disciplined in the Minutewomen.
How about dropping 3 straight points as well? That's probably something you're biting your tongue at if you're Syracuse. If you're UMass, you're riding that confidence, that momentum. But if you're on the other side, it's completely changed scenario, all because of those unforced errors.
Talk about momentum coming into this game. Massachusetts won 4 straight after losing to Boston College in the season opener.
And the guy in the orange hat right behind the stands. Some men's lacrosse players that were in action yesterday. Caden Patrick Duffy, a few other players as well, and supporting the tennis squad. We always get good inter-sport support on campus at Syracuse University, and seen a few of them kind of walk in lineup before for the season opening weekend, so it's good to see them back supporting Syracuse tennis. Men's lacrosse lost in a heartbreaker against Maryland in the Dome. It's a doubleheader with women's lacrosse as well. Good to win that first point for Syracuse. This is especially difficult with John Luttrickle on the serve. This is the exact scenario you'd want if you're UMass. She's arguably one of the most powerful servers on the team.
She is. She has a great serve when you're paired with Danny Hack at the front end. At the net, that's a perfect pairing. They've done really well this year, and to close this one out would be huge for Massachusetts.
The winningest team thus far for head coach Nunez, 4-1 entering today. Good get off the drop, but it misses wide. Another scenario where Syracuse is up 30-11 a game. This time you're receiving.
You got to hold on to the lead. Nothing's given at this point. Everyone was waiting in suspense to see if that ball would drop in or out. Very, very close. Don't think it tickles the tape.
It's pretty close, though, I'll tell you. But, of course, there's chair judges as well. But the call, just like USTA and other competitions, usually goes to the players. Once you get into ACC play, things change just a little bit. UMass gets one right back.
Cool, great play at the net to slam it at coming up after serving. Got to be careful not to touch the net. Very aggressive in that regard, and way to start off the point by serving. Excuse me, that was Hack that finished that one.
Great shot from Kozyreva. She drives it into Danielle Hack. Syracuse with 2 points to break and send it to a tiebreaker.
Really powerful shot from Kozyreva. Wasn't even attempting to go around anyone. She says, hey, I'll hit it right at you. I don't think you're going to get this one back.
You know how they say when you split it down the middle between two players, it's difficult to communicate. When it's split right down your two legs, basically, you're kind of in a bit of a predicament. Another one drilled, this time into Jongler Tricul, and Syracuse evens it up at 6.
Kozyreva, really clutch performance in those last few points, showing off the power. That's a risky move when you're at this stage in the match. Sometimes you just want to get the ball back, but she says no. She's confident in herself. She knows what she can do, drives it toward the net player and gets the point, evens it up 6 apiece.
A cheeky little smile there from Eunice Lamam, a bit of personality from Kozyreva you don't really see. She lets her play do the talking. She's one of the more vocal players on this team, but when it comes to her actual play on the court, usually she's very calm, composed, always encouraging everyone around her, but it's always funny to see. Maybe she's a little bit mad. She's driving it at those players. She gets 2 points for Syracuse.
She's a vocal leader on this team, graduate student. She's been here for a while, and she knows what she's doing, and she's a leader that a lot of these players look up to.
So Syracuse gets the first point on the tiebreak. This is a 7-point tiebreaker because it's in a single set and not at the end of a match. So Syracuse started on the serve on the deuce side. They take 1 point, and every other team will now alternate 2 points on the serve each, switching on the ad side. Every 6 points, the teams will switch sides. And that's a great get from Jongler Tricul, showing flashes of what we saw earlier in the match.
Exactly, that's where she specializes. Earlier in the match, she was really going hard at the net. She kind of hung back these past few games, but putting it right at the feet of Font, she had no chance to return that one.
This is a game that's gone back and forth, and this is what it comes down to for the doubles point between Syracuse and UMass. The Orange lost 6-2 on number 2 doubles and won 6-2 at number 3 doubles. But now it's UMass getting both of its points on the serve. That's the way it's been thus far in the tiebreaker, and it'll lead us to Inez Font for 2 chances to get back ahead.
This is big for Font, both for her confidence and for the point.
Two at the net for Syracuse. And it's missed long by UMass. This is great for Syracuse.
Really beautiful teamwork and beautiful point from the Orange. And it all started with the very first hit before anyone was at the net, when Font puts a lot of topspin, more than I've seen all day today, and it gets the Minute women off balance and forces them to try to go over the head of Kozyreva, and Font just goes a little long.
A lot of smiles for this number 1 doubles pairing that has not played as high in the lineup in their careers. It's the first time Font has been at number 1 doubles. Another win off the serve. Kozyreva and Font up 3-2 in the tiebreaker.
Looks like the momentum is back with the Orange after the Massachusetts Minute women looked like they had all the momentum at the beginning. These past few points have really transformed the energy at Drumlins, and Syracuse up 3-2 in this tiebreaker.
Ball's back in the hands of Jongler Tricul, though. Powerful serve misses long. Beautiful pounce from Font. Started off by a great cross-court rally, and the finish from Inez Font.
Ends by splitting the defense right down the middle. That's exactly where you want to put it. Good slice at the net from Jogger Chakul, and the return. Thought it was a little high, but Font reaches up, shows that length, and puts it away.
So Syracuse up 4-2 on the changeover. Just need to get to 7 to close out the match 7-6. This doubles pairing for UMass coming off its first loss of the season last week against Army. They had started the season on a 4-match win streak. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, this Font-Kozureva pairing at #1 has never been tried before. Right through Kozureva's racket. She thought she had it there and she just missed it.
Really fast hands on that whole point from Danny Hack. Had to use those reflexes. Shots were just getting fired at her on that right side of the court. And it all started with Jogger Chakul going for a more of a finesse approach. She has a lot of power on her shots when she wants to. She opted for more of the spin, using that top spin to generate the point for the Minutewomen.
Kozureva is serving for Syracuse, up 4-3. Kozureva just clips the line. A great winner.
Really nice shot right down the line from Polina Kozureva. It's exactly where you want it. A good return, but cross court, right to Kozureva. And she wanted that shot, and she knew where she was going to put it when it was hit to her.
Wide angle, and then a backhand back on the court. Kozureva can't guide it in. Syracuse still up 5-4.
It's a really big point from Massachusetts, forcing that error and getting back in this game. It's been back and forth since the jump, and now a chance to tie it back up at 5 apiece.
Danielle Hack to serve for UMass, down 4-5. Another blast from Kozureva does the trick again.
Rocketed off the racket at the net of Jogger Chakul, and the Orange going strong right now. Kozureva playing a really good tiebreaker set.
It's match point for Syracuse in the 7-point tiebreaker. Doubles tied up at 1 apiece. This is the decisive match to claim the doubles point in this duel. A miss straight into the net. Syracuse gets the tiebreaker. 7-4, and it's a 7-6 finish at #1 doubles for Inez Font and Polina Kozureva.
That's not how you want to close out the tiebreaker if you're UMass, and she just laughs it off. She knows that was not her best work. She'll get a chance to rebound in the singles realm.
So Syracuse up 1-0 in this duel. Lots to talk about and debrief for Jackie Kalla and Eunice Lamam. Some good work all around as Syracuse chests pulls through and clinches the doubles point by a 2-1 margin. So lots to talk about and deliberate as Syracuse and UMass get set for singles play. It's the Orange up 1-0 over UMass. We'll be back with singles action after a quick break. Back in snowy Syracuse, we're shielded from the elements inside the Orange, claiming the first point of this duel from the doubles point. It was a 2-1 margin, and it came down to the #1 doubles court. Initially, it was Levivier and Sisueva dropping the #2 pairing at 6-2. Kanapetskaya and Alde right after winning by a 6-2 victory. And Font and Kozureva coming back and winning in this set with a 7-4 tiebreaker and a 7-6 match. So to get the rundown on singles play now, we'll toss it down courtside with Riley Underwood.
Joined by Syracuse head coach Eunice Lamam. Coach, coming off your first conference win, going back into an out-of-conference game back-to-back, how does that affect your team?
Yeah, I thought we had a great day yesterday starting our conference play. Very proud of how the team competed, and was first time we lost the doubles point to start the match with, and love how we responded. But today is a new day, so we've got UMass. I know they're very talented, they're very well coached, so we look forward to the challenge.
And Miyuka Komodo started off the season strong. She's lost 2 straight in the 1 spot. Is there any extra pressure in that 1 spot, and how does she rebound?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is getting your confidence back, and I think doing the little things that matter the most, having a short memory when you miss a shot and just bouncing back. Every position, quite honestly, it's going to be very challenging. All the matches are super competitive, so I think the biggest thing for our team is to focus more on the things that we can control, which are our attitude and enthusiasm and effort. So if we do that, we feel good.
Shiori Ito's been really solid this year, especially on that back half of the lineup. What are you excited to see from her today?
Yeah, I mean, with Shiori, she's one of our most consistent player in our team. I think we know exactly what to expect from Shiori. I think she comes in with the right mindset, with her effort day in and day out in practices, in matches. So it's really neat to see. And as a coach, I think that's something that you always want from your players, knowing what to expect.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
And so we'll see how everything is lined up now. Some shifting around as Komodo stays the #1 spot. Kanapetskaya at #2. Worth noting Emily Elde as well at #3 singles, but the big matchup that we've been looking at as far as some potential for maybe an upset in #2 spot, Ella Fassler poses a huge threat to transfer into UMass this season.
Ella Fassler poses a huge threat. She's been really strong this season, and she's been strong her whole career. A former four-star, but she's going against Kanapetskaya, who's really strong, a former All-American for the Syracuse squad.
Kanapetskaya, an All-American in her freshman season. She's always been extremely consistent. I mean, 6-0 sweep, and her matchup yesterday was kind of the stamp of approval there, and always plays with a lot of consistency, a lot of power, and can't really tell if she's mad or happy with some of her play. She's very stoic in her expression. And so she'll be matched up across Ella Fassler, who comes in as a sophomore, who has been terrific. And we mentioned her leading that #2 doubles pairing. So she slots in at #2 singles. And so far she is 3-1 at the #2 spot, 1-0 at the #1 spot.
She's a really strong player, a former four-star recruit, ranked number 70 in the country in high school. Really gonna be a good matchup.
So we'll have to stay tuned for that. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, get you that action on the #2 court between Syracuse and UMass. Back again, waiting singles action as Syracuse holds a 1-0 lead over UMass thanks to the doubles point. It's a best 4 out of 7 points in this duel. So Syracuse won 2 out of the 3 matchups in doubles to win the match point. And from there, each singles match, 6 of them, is worth at least a point, or worth a point, but potential for Syracuse to at least get 3 matches that clinches the match. Meanwhile, UMass would have to at least win 4 of their singles matchups to claim a victory. Syracuse thus far on their way, but still work to do, and UMass posed a huge threat as far as maybe could have flipped that double script if it wasn't for a few strong points in the tiebreaker.
A few strong points in the tiebreaker were the factor, and it looked like UMass was going to win that doubles point in that court on the #1 pairing, but Syracuse needs to know that they got the point. It's not time to relax just yet, because the singles hold a lot more weight than the doubles in college tennis, and we have there's a lot of work to be done for both teams if they want to get this out-of-conference win.
So now some important updates on court #1 and court #2 as well. So Kanapetskaya, we mentioned, would be projected to slot in against Ella Fassler. She did not play in doubles along with Shiori Ito. And so now Paulina Kozyreva steps in to play against Ella Fassler. And she's out there, and she'll be slotted in at the #2 spot. At #1, very interesting to see Emily Eldy as well at the #1 spot. It's the first time she'll play in that position. The new sophomore player for Syracuse, 1-1 at #3 singles this season. That moves up Anastasia Sisoweva to the #3 spot. Font at 4 singles, where she's 3-0 on the year. Shiori Ito at the 5 spot, and Constance Levivier at #6.
It's very interesting. Komodo originally slotted in that #1 single spot. Emily Eldy takes it from her, the Norway native. She's only played 3 singles matches so far. She's 1-1 at the 3 spot and 0-1 at the number 4 spot. She's lost 2 straight, but she's going to have a chance for a big-time game against UMass in the number 1 singles spot.
We'll stay locked in right now as LD's matched up against Danielle Hack for UMass. And Hack, much more experienced at the number 1 spot. She's 3-1 in that position this season. She's played all of her time pretty much this year and even into the fall at the number 1 spot. So it's a huge test early on for LD.
JC Nunez, head coach of the Minutewomen, says that Hack's one of the best number 1 players in the whole Northeast region. He has a lot of confidence in the senior captain, one of the team's best players, great at the net. She has a strong spin serve too when she can utilize it. That one just sails a little bit on her. And LD gets off to an early lead.
When you're in this position, what are you kind of thinking about? I mean, playing at number 3 spot, we talked about the pressure from Miyuki Komodo playing at number 1, but now someone who hasn't had the experience of a prior season at the number 1 spot is playing for Syracuse.
Well, one thing about Emily LD is she's very even-keeled. She's not gonna get too wrapped up in the moment that she's playing in the number 1 singles spot. And she doesn't get too down, very quiet, very composed. It'll be a good match, and she will put up a good fight no matter what the score ends up being.
As far, she's in a pretty good position right now, receiving. After the delay and railroad crossing, it could sit on the ad court. Hack serving from the deuce side.
She had a really good fall season, 7-1 on the single circuit.
And just missed the line wide. And that'll put up LD with a chance to break as Hack's down 30-40. Great winner there from Hack, pushes the game to deuce. And so just like we mentioned in singles, players getting to choose the side that they want to return and no ad scoring. Danielle Hack lines up and appears she'll just be on the normal deuce side to decide this game. Just missed long, and LD breaks serve. Her first win of a game at the number 1 spot, and it's good positioning.
And when you're in that spot and you choose that, the opponent chooses that side, you have a chance to either take them off the court and serve it out, or take them in and force them to use the backhand. She forced her to use the backhand and took a chance on winning the rally, but she loses, and LD picks up game number 1.
Juan Carlos Nunez, head coach for UMass, watching on the number 1 court. I mean, there's the aspect of never playing at the number 1 spot if you're LD, but also the aspect of maybe not knowing what you're getting if you're UMass on the opposite side. You know, there's not much to scout when it comes to that.
That's right. Never know what you're going to get when you have Yunus Lamam at the helm. He always likes to mix it up, keep the opponent on our toes, keep us on our toes as well. Never know what he's going to throw at you.
LD calls their return out. She gives up 15 love on the serve. Raising her hand, saying she called the point out. It's because she lifted her finger to signal that after she actually hit the ball. So it's the reason why there's some deliberation. Seems like Hack wanted to call over a judge. There's only a few officials in the stands for out-of-conference games. So again, the discretion up to the player, and what really could have gone Hack's way there on a technicality, but we play on with LD up 15. She just misses wide. We're tied at 15 all.
15 all, and started off with a good cross-court shot by LD, working it back both ways and just a little bit out. Kept it. She just would have hit that one a little more inside the court. It would have been a fantastic shot, and I don't think Hack was going to get to that one.
The first serve is out. LD will get a chance on the second serve. There's Miyuka Komodo watching on. Not playing this morning / afternoon. Usually she'd be at the #1 spot.
She started off the season really strong, but has dropped her last 2 singles matches in that #1 spot.
Good hitting from Hack, and LD makes the first error. So players just kind of waiting each other out, and you just can't get under that ball enough.
Yeah, these guys starting off the game aren't getting too aggressive on either side, just trying to outlast each other, make the opponent make the mistake, and that time she did force LD to make a mistake. Hack, really good, really experienced player.
Danielle Hack, a senior out of England. We mentioned her fall record. She was 7-1 in singles, and she's 3-1 in singles in this spring season. So hasn't done a whole lot of losing, and she's been a really strong player ever since being thrust into that role. The all-conference first team in the Atlantic 10.
2019, she won the British Under-18 National Championships in doubles in the summer. Really good player across the pond. It's translated so far to a very fruitful career with the Minutewomen.
A lot of international recruiting for many teams in the Northeast. When you think about powerhouse regions in tennis, you think the Southeast, you think the Southwest, you think the South, where the sun shines and the snow doesn't fall too much. But that's what happens, at least in Syracuse, where Yunus Lamam has had to recruit internationally, and in fact, all his players are from overseas. So, except for Anastasia Sesueva, who joined the team out of Sarasota, Florida, and that's even someone who was a transfer from the University of Florida.
And she's lived a lot of her life in Moscow, Russia, actually, also. So, another overseas connection. And both these players from across the seas, and tennis, it's a worldwide game.
Emily LD with Oslo, Norway, and Hack, of course, from England. So both of them no strangers to indoor courts. LD, the latest arrival for Syracuse. Both her and Constance Levivier had been with the team practicing but weren't registered. They've been ready to go now.
Started the season with 6 on the roster for Syracuse. Added 2, gives them a little more breathing room when you have players that aren't available, like we saw Font in the Columbia matchup, and Komodo out today. Gives a little wiggle room to the coach for decision-making, pairings, and just giving the players a rest day too, or if something comes up.
Kana Patskaya also not in the lineup this afternoon. Paulina Kozyreva moving up to the 2 spot, and that's bumped up everyone in this Syracuse lineup pretty much. That shot's called just wide by LD. So Kozyreva at 2, Sisaweva at 3 for the first time this season. She's undefeated with a combined 4-0 record at 4-5. Shiori Ito moves up to 4, and for her, that is the first time this season. Meanwhile, Font at 5 and Levivier at 6. So essentially, you have 3 players that have never played in those spots before the season, while Kozyreva has shifted up to the number 2 singles spot at times when needed. She's 3-0 in that position.
It's gives a definite advantage to Massachusetts just looking at it on paper, because these are players that haven't played in these positions before, and to take advantage of that would be to get some matches, get some wins, especially at this number 1 spot, to get a point on the board and maybe make an upset happen.
And it's definitely a measuring stick as well for Emily Eldy, who's had confidence from her coach to play at the number 3 spot, and she's now the number 1 seed and really holding her own early thus far against Danielle Hack, who is a formidable opponent. Great cross-court winner from LD there.
Beautiful cross-court winner. Hack was all set, trying to get in position to get a volley, but LD just powers it past her to the outside, right where she was.
I want to ask you something about the serve. Why does she start that far behind the baseline? You don't always see that with that left foot.
You don't always see it, but it gives you a little bit of momentum when you're going forward and gives you some breathing room. You don't always want to be saddled up to that line, and Hack likes to serve her a specific way. She likes how she does it. She's gotten a routine. She likes to step up as well when she does it. It's kind of a dynamic motion.
And so LD gets the break off of Hack's serve. She goes up 2-1 at number 1 singles. Score update for everyone right now. We'll have number 2 Paulina Kozyreva up 2-1 for Syracuse. Court 3 is tied at 1 apiece. Shiori Ito at number 4 for the first time this season, up 2-1. Inez Font up 3-0. And Constance Levivier for Syracuse down 2-1 at the number 6 seed. So now Len Lopo is chatting with Emily LD and speaking with Eunice Lamam over the years, and what he's talked about, it's very different tennis as a sport from other sports, where you might say you're talking a game plan and you're saying you're using these parts to create a product or create a whole. In tennis, it's kind of the opposite, where you're not really trying to change a player as much as you're just trying to say, how are you doing this well? Can you do something different? But you're oftentimes optimizing a player's strengths instead of trying to change something or tell them what to do. And that coaching is a fine line in tennis.
It is, and Len Lopo, he's been around for a while. He's the volunteer assistant coach. You don't see that a lot in his 12th year. He also teaches at Syracuse University. He's a professor at the Maxwell School. He was a great player, top 20 nationally ranked junior player, and he played at Louisiana State, LSU. 4-time state champion in high school. When he talks, you got to listen.
You know, a very accomplished player at the collegiate level, and it's helped with a bit of stability, especially with the changeover with Maddie Kobelt leaving to Nebraska after 3 seasons, an alum of Syracuse in 2014. So Jackie Kalla called upon in her first season for Syracuse, and Lupo has definitely been a bit of stabilizing force for Syracuse when it comes to that coaching. So he applauds as LD is in command of this game.
A really powerful backhand from the sophomore. She starts it off by going cross court and takes Hack out of the play a little bit, but lets it bounce. It's a winner from the Norwegian.
Now we'll see LD's feet planted right behind the baseline. It's a bit different from Danielle Hack's serve, and LD powers the second serve, but can't get her first return back. A strong hit there from Danielle Hack.
I noticed on LD's toss, she had a little bit of struggle with it, just getting the consistency down. She tends to sometimes throw it a little further behind her head than she needs to be, and that can sometimes let the ball sail, and when you see it go out, that's what happens. Great serve there on the first try, and playing very offensively.
Leads you to some errors if you're going too offensively there.
It can, getting too ahead of yourself, one hit at a time, trying to be too aggressive. At that time, she really just wasn't in the proper position. Her feet were set, but she wasn't really in an athletic position or a spot to hit that ball, as that toss sails away in front of her, but smartly catches it back down.
LD into the net after going up. 30 love on her serve. She's dropped 3 straight points.
One thing about Danielle Hack is she's consistent if she wants to be, if she wants that style of play, and it worked for her that time, outlasting LD and making her make the mistake. 2 bad tosses in a row for LD.
Straight down the line, and Hack equalizes on the break. We're tied up at 2 apiece on the #1 singles court. We'll now shift things out to court 4 with the #2 pairing. That's Paulina Kozyreva for Syracuse and Ella Fassler for UMass. It's Fassler on the serve right now. And Kozyreva in familiar territory as far as her #2 spot goes. 3-0 on the year. She has not lost a singles match this season. She's won once at #1 singles, once at #3 singles, and now playing in her 4th match at the #2 seed.
Kozyreva has really impressed in the singles realm in the #2 seed spot. She's 3-0 on she won her last game against Boston College yesterday. And Fassler is really going to be a tough opponent for her.
Ella Fassler, the sophomore, a College of Charleston transfer. She's 3-1 this season at #2 singles, 4-1 overall. Is currently down 4-2 against Paulina Kozyreva. Of course, Kozyreva, a much more experienced player when it comes to her being in her grad year for Syracuse. Fassler there chopping that one away. Just a sophomore in her first season with UMass, but she's been trusted to play high up in the lineup.
She has a lot of raw potential. You saw it when she was at Charleston. You saw it in high school. And now you're seeing it in UMass. Struggled in the fall season with the Minute Women, but has really come into her own this spring, and really powerful player.
Another mistake, and she hits it into the net.
Those things come with age as you go on. Kozyreva is not typically making that type of mistake that Fassler just made on the other side of the court. As time goes on, you mature as a player, get better, know what type of play you need to make in a certain situation.
And a shot that gave away the game as well. That puts Kozyreva in the driver's seat, up 5-2 at #2 singles. Moving around as well, as far as players that have the chance to clinch their first sets, Shiori Ito's up 5-1 at number 4 singles over Amelia Tai. And Ines Font at number 5 singles is up 5-love over Mariana Campino. So those are the matches that are within reach right now. Of course, Syracuse with the 1-0 lead in the duel thanks to the doubles point, clinched by a tiebreaker by the number 1 pairing in its first iteration, Ines Font and Paulina Kozureva. That's the first time they've been used together, and at least at that number 1 spot. And so it was a good debut for them to learn from a very tight pressure situation.
It was clutch coming up at the end to get the doubles point. And they could come up huge when we see these tight games on the other courts that really could go either way.
Fassler playing with a lot of power there, and playing free, she wins the first point of Kozureva's service.
All started with that soft serve from Kozureva, gave Fassler a chance to gain the momentum in the point and gain the advantage with a strong first shot.
Kozureva misses into the net. Mentioned her in her grad year, so her 5th season playing. And she's just grown and aged as the seasons have gone along. Her best season to date was last year when she went 18-8 in singles, the best mark on the team. That also included the longest win streak of 12 straight wins. Again, she loses control of a point, and one goes out, and she's still in control, but you don't want to drop those easy ones.
No, and Fassler with a really hard shot almost went out. That was a close one, just skimmed the line, and power was just too much for Kozureva.
Ball missed out by Ella Fassler, and Kozureva still with the chance to serve here. And she just misses out, drops her service game. She was down 15-40. So Fassler gets one back on the break from Kozureva, and she's down 3-5. If she can win a serve here, that puts UMass right back in it at the number 2 seed.
It would be, and one thing that Fassler does well, she capitalizes on that momentum with her powerful shots, and she takes some chances once in a while that can really get Kozureva off her game, and winning that game was a start to maybe a comeback that would be huge for UMass.
That ball was flying off the court. Fassler just hitting with a lot of power, and she's decisive enough to get herself up to 30-love. Great winner from Kozureva. She pulls one back. We'll take a quick look at some of that play there that got her set up.
Fassler kind of got caught flat-footed, didn't know where Kozureva was going. A great cross-court shot to end it. Fassler playing defensive the whole point. Nothing much she can do about that one.
And elsewhere in this duel, Inez Font won her first set at number 5 singles, 6-love over Campino. So she's up against her fellow countrywoman, also out of Portugal. Along with that, Shiori Ito just clinched her number 4 singles first set, 6-2 over Amelia Tai. So maybe Kozyreva could be the third. She'd have to break Fassler here. And that's a difficult shot.
It is a difficult shot, especially when it's in that position in between the lines. You're not really sure whether to let it bounce or hit it off the air. That one, it would have been smart to let it bounce. Kind of just got ahead of herself and not in a good position to hit that one. Hits the bottom of the net.
You have to really nail that one for one of those aerial backhands. So she frames it just a little bit. So now Kozyreva's up 5-4 on the number 2 singles court. So a bit more challenging. We'll now shift things out to court 1 with the number 5 singles match. We mentioned Inez Font with the 6-0 first set win. She's now on her serve in the second set.
Really nice shot by Inez Font, just effortless. Nothing too crazy, just getting the point.
And she's been in control. Another player that's been really strong when called upon. Her one match this season thus far at number 5 singles, she also won. She's like Paulina Kozyreva in the fact that she's undefeated, but with a 4-0 record. Of course, she missed the last series out of town due to personal reasons, so that had some shifting around as far as the singles matchup goes. But when she's here and she's ready to go and healthy, she's called upon by Eunice Lamam for any situation pretty much. I mean, today clinching the doubles point at number 1 doubles with a 7-6 one, and now she's a bit further deeper in the lineup, but playing as depth in that number 5 slot.
This is a Portuguese matchup between these two. Their hometowns just 40 minutes apart. Both towns sit on the Atlantic. So very close back at home, and now just a net separating them.
Campino, a junior, transferred from Nevada. Meanwhile, Inez Font, a senior for Syracuse, spent all her time with the Orange. And it's a very interesting transition for some of these players as well, because a lot of their background is in clay courts. So that typical red clay, very different from stepping on these hard courts. And that's a put away from Font there.
That's a very strong shot from Inez Font. Exactly where you want to put it. The great placement and great power on that shot. So not just one or the other, it was both, and jumps up in the air and puts everything she has into it. Campino was not getting that one.
Just misses long there, but that last point, that's one of those fun shots. We saw it earlier on in that point where it's rising. You can just kind of power through it. That time she kind of swipes across it. But she's still very aggressive with the delivery.
And Campino plays with so much spin on her shots that a lot of those balls jump up on Font, and she likes that a lot of the times, like that put-away shot we saw a few points ago, where she can power it through, but other times those balls can kind of sail on you. It can work in Campino's favor.
So Font up 40 love, dropped 2 points. And now after an unforced error, Campino guides it wide, and Font gets the first game of this second set at number 5 singles.
Font still has not lost a singles match on the year, 4-0.
So she'll rest up on the changeover, progressing through her second set. Looking around Drumlin, Syracuse basically in front on every court except for the number 6 singles spot. All of them are extremely close though. You go to number 1, it's LD up 4-3. Number 2 with Kozyreva up 5-4 still. Sisueva up 5-3 on court number 3. Ito in her second set up 1-0. And Levivier down 4-3 on court number 6. So Syracuse with the 1-0 lead in the duel thanks to the doubles points and an array of matches that could get you the distance to get that 4-point threshold for the win. So Campino talking with her head coach, Juan Carlos Nunez. He'll now switch courts off the left corner of your screen. Of course, for Mariana Campino, she has yet to win a game, so that's the first step here on her serve. Great touch on the drop shot, but Font got to the shot. And Campino couldn't go cross court, so she gets the first point of this game.
This match has been dominated by Inez Font. It just looks effortless out there. Even when you think that Campino might have a nice shot to get back in it, Font just jogs up and puts it away. A lot of confidence for the senior.
Great get from Campino. Maybe a bit unexpected there if you're Font.
It was. That is not where Font was expecting Campino to go. It was a beautiful job to utilize the racket and with that grip and slice it to the other side of the court.
Ball just wide from Campino. Font up 30-15 on Campino's serve. And that shot misses the baseline. Campino's frustrated with herself. And the shot right before that, you clip the tape. So if your margin for error is an inch or two, I mean, the next one's going to sail along.
Frustration is building, and you got to make those adjustments when you see those other shots. That one sails, and Mariana flails her arms out, and scoreboard not looking good from the Minute Women in the number 5 slot.
And Font just misses into the net. Has another chance to break Campino, though.
Just a glimmer of hope for Campino. I'm sure Font's not too worried about giving up that one. 2 straight shots at the net, just getting a little lackadaisical.
And Font misses long, and it's 2 points for Campino. That deuce, she'll pick the ad side. After 2 points back and then 2 points gone, and going back and forth, Campino, when it matters, just missed wide, so she goes down 2-0 in the second set. Back again with a look in these singles scores, very close, but a few matchups still in their first set, including that number 1, number 3, and number 6 matchups. Meanwhile, at number 2, number 4, and number 5, Syracuse has closed out all of their 3 first sets, and the threshold is just 3 more points for Syracuse already with the 1-0 lead in the duel. They can clinch these second sets. That would be huge, and Ines Font is already well on her way with the 2-0 lead.
Really impressive performance so far by Anastasia Sisaweva. She's yet to lose a singles match, and she goes against a really strong player in Belle Jongra-Trackle, and she's up 5-3 right now. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, Sisaweva playing in her first match at the number 3 position. 4-0 on the year, split 2 matches at number 4 and number 5. So winner there from Font. She's known for being an aggressive player, but how does it change, you know, when she seems to be being a bit more consistent? She's obviously in the driver's seat in this match, but she doesn't need to be the aggressor.
She doesn't need to be the aggressor because she is the better player in this matchup. She's been dominating the whole time, and she plays to her strengths and the opponent's weaknesses. And so when those weaknesses are getting the ball back to you and surviving those rallies, she's just got to do what's going to win those points. She does like to be aggressive, but she doesn't have to be in this one. She's winning very handily. It's been all Font on the number 5 slot. Starting the season very strong. 4-0 to start. Started last year with 7 consecutive singles matches. A lot of wins every year, early in the year for Font. That time goes into the net. Campino actually takes a lead.
What does she do here then?
Campino, she has to close this one out. You see that wide shot from Font? You know where she's going when she whips out that arm that's going, trying to take you outside the court, so you got to prepare for that. I'd like a shot down the line here.
Some strong hitting from both the Portuguese players on each side. It's the longest rally of the day. Font in white, and on the opposite side, Campino for UMass. the get, and she hangs on. That was right there for Campino, and Font stuck with the point on what has been the longest rally of the day.
It was right there in Campino's hands with a beautiful shot down the line, and all she has to do is dink it over, and she doesn't. Tries to go with the power shot into the top of the net, all tied at deuce.
So they'll take a quick breather. Wish I was counting how many shots that was. But Font will serve from the deuce side. Campino gets aggressive and then misses wide. Font holds her serve to go up 3-love in the second set.
Very impressive stuff from Inez Font. Campino, that was her best game all set, but cannot finish when it matters. She was up, looked like she might get her first. Font says no, she wants to bring out the brooms. Couple more games to go though before that happens.
Now we'll shift things back to court 3. We started with the #1 singles matchup. There's Juan Carlos Nunez talking with Mariana Campino. To talk her through being down 3-love in that second set. Meanwhile, the #1 singles matchup, it's Emily Eldey up 5-4 against Danielle Hack. For Eldey, it's her first matchup this season at the #1 spot. And Danielle Hack has played well at the #1 spot. Just one loss on the season. This one's been really close since the start. The return goes out. It's LD, 1 win, 1 loss at #3. So it'll be interesting to see how she kind of navigates being in this position. That shot going out, LD claims the first set. And Hack will take a quick break with the intermission. But a pretty successful first set for Emily Eldey. We only caught the tail end of it there. But she wasn't really ever down by much in that set, and she gets the first one 6-4. It's pretty huge at the #1 position.
Really huge for Eldey, and it's a huge confidence booster as well when you go into that #1 slot and you win your first set against a player like Danny Hack. It's big stuff.
So as that break happens, we'll switch over. Currently with the #3 singles matchup, it's Anastasia Sisoeva serving against Belle Jongler-Tracul. Sisoeva won her first set 6-3 over Jongler-Tracul, and now she's down 3-love against Jongler-Tracul. So a lot of ground to make up if you're Sisoeva. Clip the tape, but just bounced in. So in a matchup where you've gone ahead in the first set and then you're down by this much in the second set, what's the mentality? How does that change from being on the offensive to now trying to claw back into a second set?
Well, you're not necessarily need to claw back into it because you're already up. You have that advantage. That's why you win the first set, and now you just got to take it 1 point at a time. Can't get too ahead of yourself. Jongler-Tracul has done a great job in this one, rebounding, not getting down on herself, and that's something that head coach J.C. Nunez really reiterated to us when we were talking to him yesterday that he doesn't want his players to get too down. The mental part of this game is really what he focuses on a lot with his men and women.
There's head coach Juan Carlos Nunez for UMass in his 7th season. He was the heir apparent to this program after 25 seasons for head coach Judy Dixon, who coached the team to over 300 wins. And he's done a terrific job really stepping up after being an assistant coach for quite some time there. He got his opportunity and he's really made the most of it. And we've seen a lot of really close matches today at Drumlins thanks to some of the challenges that they've put in their schedule as an Atlantic 10 conference team. And playing against these ACC schools he mentioned is a great treat for them to see where they are.
It is, and last week he picked up his 65th win, which was in his 100th career game as the Massachusetts head coach. He had a great opportunity for working for so many years as an assistant coach under Judy Dixon, a 5-time conference coach of the year for the Minutewomen, and just taking that time to learn after being a player at Arkansas Little Rock and then coaching there for 1 year, going to UMass and taking a 2-year hiatus as the assistant coach at Brown, and then coming back when Dixon retires and becoming the head coach. It's become a blessing and a great opportunity for the Venezuelan.
And so we mentioned at number 3 singles, we had John Littricool at 3-0. We have updated that. It's actually 2-1. She's on her serve up 15-love. So a bit less to worry about if you're Sisseleva now. It's just one game to break or a serve to hold. And John Littricool, though, her thing is her really strong weapon has been her serve. We saw it in doubles earlier. There it is again, another first serve ace on the deuce side.
Sisseleva didn't even get a chance to move her feet and try to get that one. John Littricool serves have been on fire today, and it's a lot about momentum when you're serving. It's not always going to be there day in and day out, but today, John Littricool serving has been on. That one just a little out.
Great backhand shot cross court from Sisseleva. Keeps herself in it.
That was just shallow enough to make John Littricool run for it, and just barely couldn't get it.
That's beautiful from Sisseleva, the forehand and the backhand. The first shot, really good, and then the second one even better.
That was a great point from both players. Sisseleva was in control, but shout out to John Littricool. She was hustling all over the place, getting those balls on the right side, on the left side. She hustled back to the left side, and Sisseleva powers one home that not even John Littricool could get.
Up 40-30, then passing shot from Sisseleva. At deuce, she'll go on the ad side to receive here. Chance to break and then be on her serve for another service game.
I wouldn't be surprised if John Littricool tries to force the backhand here. She goes the opposite side, working with the spin. And when you miss that first serve, that's really key to notice where your opponent's going and adjust.
Sisseleva misses into the net. John Littricool holds her serve. She's up 3-1 in the second set. at number 3 singles. Now we're heading to court 5 with the number 4 singles matchup, Shiori Ito against Emilia Tai. It's Ito serving for the match. She won her first set 6-2, and she's up in this second set 5-2 over the freshman Emilia Tai. Maybe a bit of inexperience there showing off that shot. It's Ito in the lineup as a junior for Syracuse, recruited with Miyuka Komodo, both out of Japan, both in the same grade year. And Ito's been very consistent, especially in those lower seedings. She's provided a lot of depth, and she's played twice at number 5 singles, 3 times at number 6 singles, for a combined 5-0 record. And now she's the number 4 position for her first time this season.
Really impressive point from Shiori Ito. Beautiful slice to take her out and then just blast it to the other side with the finesse. Great point from Ito. She's content with staying at the baseline and working those long rallies. That time it works in her favor. Tai makes the mistake. Hits it a little too wide.
Tai blasts that one down the line.
Two very consistent players from the baseline. They're content with the long balls, and Tai down the line. Ito had no chance at getting that one.
That gives her the service game off the break. She's now down 5-3, still defending the match. Now Ito has to look to break. She's done it a few times, of course, this match, closing out the 6-2 win in the first set. And double fault there is not what you want to start out with.
Definitely not what you want to start off with, especially at this point in the match when you're down 3-5, and you need these points to get back in this one, because if you drop this service game, Shiori Ito takes home a point for the Orange.
Tai again misses, and she's down love 30. Playing against Shiori Ito, she's not going to beat herself.
I'm keeping an eye on court 1. We should get to 5 on this.
Tai did a good job that time to work the point and cut the lead.
Emilia Tai, 1-1 at number 4 singles this season. She faces pretty tough scenario to claw back from.
5-1 down here.
Although at 30-all, she can hold her serve. That puts her in a position to force a third set, which would eventually either be, of course, a set, but presumably a 10-point tiebreaker, this being an out-of-conference matchup, but that would be determined by the coaches, Eunice Lamont for Syracuse and Juan Carlos Nunez for UMass. Again, it's another double fault. You kind of hear some speech in the background there, talking to herself after 2 double faults in this game. And that's put Shiori up for the match point.
Very costly, especially when you had already clawed back from being down love 30 to 30 all and then drop a silly point, not getting your serves in.
That's it on court 1.
So Shiori Ito on set and match point. That time she misses. Bit mad at herself, but she still has deuce. She stays on the deuce side, and it's another chance at set and match point at number 4 singles for Ito. Missed wide by Tai, and Ito clinches. She wins 6-2, 6-3 at number 4 singles. It's the first time this season she's been slotted in there, and she gets the point for Syracuse, the first one of the day in singles. The Orange are up 2-0 in the duel. Along with that, we switch things over to the number 5 singles spot, and Inez Font won 6-love, 6-1 over Mariana Campino, her fellow countrywoman, and that puts her up with another win on her season. That puts Syracuse up 3-0 in the duel. So now we'll take a look and check in with the number 1 singles matchup. Emily LD won the first set 6-4. She's now down 1-love. Danielle Hack aims to climb back in the second set.
This game's been really competitive between these two. We might not have expected it at the beginning. We haven't seen a lot of LD this year, but she's played really competitive, and she's up in this one.
Good shot from Hack there. Running LD all around the court. Now, what's the key for Emily LD to stay composed in the second set? You get a win in your first matchup at number 1. But this is business as usual for Danielle Hack.
It is business as usual, and she's used to winning these games. But for Emily LD, you got to play up to your opponent. Hack has been here before. LD not necessarily has been in this situation, but she's done a good job handling it so far. And you just got to remember, you're just playing tennis at this point. Don't worry about when you're playing, who's watching. It's a game you've been playing since you were little.
And LD can't get under that ball, just reaching in a little bit. Didn't get her feet set.
It's a risky shot, especially when you're trying to slice that backhand with one hand. Not always you're not going to have the most control over it, and she didn't, just a little too short into the net, gives the point to Hack.
Hack's first serve just long. LD shot into the net. And that gives Hack the game. She goes up 2-1 over Emily LD. And obviously now she's dropped to 2 games in the second set. Just a few mistakes there.
A few mistakes, but she's certainly still in this one. Just got over it a little bit, and Hack relieved that she could finally gain a lead in this second set.
And so Syracuse has a 3-0 lead in the duel over Massachusetts. Mentioned the doubles point clinched by Syracuse. And from there, Syracuse did its work at the number 4 and number 5 singles positions. Shiori Ito with a 6-2 win over Amelia Tai at number 4 spot. Number 5, it was Inez Font with a 6-love, 6-1 finish. And that was clinched right at the same time, basically. So with 7 matches total accumulating to points, that means Syracuse just needs 1 more match to clinch the duel. Along with that, Syracuse is 5-1 on the year, and every single match has been won at home this season. So lots of home cooking for Eunice Lamam. The 1 match on the road against Columbia, you lose.
You lose, and it comes down to just being comfortable in your environment. They went down to Columbia. They dropped it 2-5, and just not the best performance from his team, but coming back home, getting a win against Boston College was huge. A solid ACC opponent that Massachusetts lost to in their season opener. It was a confidence booster for this squad, because when you're playing these out-of-conference teams, you're winning, you're not sure if that's going to translate or you're just playing a certain type of competition. But when you beat Boston College pretty handedly, especially in the singles, it gives a lot of confidence to your team and lets them know, we've been doing something right. This is a team that could go far.
Strong serve from LD. Good way to start out the point.
A great way to start out the point for LD. Powers it to the outside, and great return from Hack. Playing defensive, just trying to get it back, and LD controls that whole point. Another point where LD gets the advantage. Hack had it bounce high off the net. That's better than going in the net, but for Hack, she knew that that one was going to get blasted to the corner. Wasn't able to get it.
And so LD actually down 3-love in the second set. On her serve, though, she's in prime position to get one back. Now you can't get too ahead of yourself, can you, Riley?
You can't, and with either player, you can't get ahead of yourself, because with LD, she won the first set, pretty happy, but you got to win the second set too. It's best of 3, and if you're Hack, you can't get too down on yourself, and she didn't. She's up 3-0 on this one, but you can't get content when you're playing a player like the Syracuse Orange and Emily Eldey.
So LD gets one back. She's still down 3-1 in the second set after clinching the first set. And this is her first match at #1 singles.
Really strong shot to start off this game for Massachusetts.
That's a great serve from Hack, and she just kept following it up.
She did. She had a great serve to start it off, and then she follows it up, going to the net, rushes the net, and LD tried to get it back, and a great slam off the jump, kind of off balance, but it worked for Hack. Net play is her specialty.
Now the referees interject here. Danielle Hack dropping the balls off at the center of the court. They shook hands, so I presume that means the match goes and it's retired. We're still getting word on the court specifically. And so that's how the match on court 1 will finish. Hack up 3-1. Is Paulina Kozyreva, who clinched court number 4. And that at the #2 singles spot puts Syracuse up 4-0 over UMass. And so she clinches the duel for Syracuse. And that's retired all the other singles matches. And so on court 4, Kozyreva with the 6-4, 6-3 finish over Fassler. That was the fourth point, third singles match that clinched the duel for Syracuse. The Orange had a slim 2-1 margin in doubles with a 7-6 tiebreaker to clinch the doubles point.
It's a really solid win for the Syracuse Orange, playing a really good Atlantic 10 opponent in Massachusetts that finished towards the top of the conference every single year, and really the player of the day, I'd say Emily Eldey. Her coming out party, she had a great win in doubles with Victoria Kenepinskaya, and then in singles she wins her first set against a really good player in Danny Hack, and who knows what would have happened if they played the match out. But Syracuse, really good win, really good weekend.
So Syracuse gets a 4-0 win to clinch the weekend over UMass. Eunice Lamam had to stay calm for doubles. It was a close doubles matchup, but Syracuse got all the points it needed in singles. A 4-0 win for the Orange over the Minutewomen. Jared Johnston alongside Riley Underwood saying thanks so much for joining us for tennis on ESPN+.